Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Tips Podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we're live on a Super Bowl Sunday morning. That's right. Or as I like to call it, Kendrick Lamar halftime Sunday morning.
That's the only thing that matters to me.
Okay, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to see somebody's call someone a pedophile. I want to see if whoever's broadcasting it blanks out an entire verse of a song. I don't think we ever seen that before, but I feel like
I can read lips.
From the second we hear, "Hey Drake, I heard you like him," it might just go blank for like 30, 45 seconds. I'm ready to do this. But we're not alone, guys. We have a guest, a very special guest. You guys may know him from, I think maybe being an award-winning journalist. You may know him from his New York Times best-selling book. You may know him from being an Emmy-nominated TV writer. But I know him from working with him on Drapetomaniacs, which I know many of you guys listened to and loved and wrote in about and still gush over. It's the man, the author, the myth, the legend, Michael Harriot. What's going on, brother?
What's going on? Hey, Karen. Hey, Rod. How y'all doing today?
Good, man. Good to see you. Are you excited about? Do you go up for the Super Bowl and for the pageantry, the parties, all that type of stuff?
I mean, I'm not a pageantry party. Well, I have been and have thrown Super Bowl parties, but I watched the Super Bowl. Like the worst place to watch the Super Bowl is at a Super Bowl party if you like football.
If you like football, if you want to party, have a ball. But if you actually want to pay attention, that ain't the place.
Right. So I've done both, but I think I'm excited to see this matchup because I think I watched it in like the green room of like a poetry event the last time these guys played in the Super Bowl. So I want to see this like up close.
A green room at a poetry event sounds like low key the worst. It's like almost worse than the Super Bowl party to watch it.
Yeah, it is, man, because like nobody cares about it. Like my friend was having an event and I didn't realize that it was on Super Bowl weekend. And I promised her that I'd be there. And I was like, oh, shit, it's on Super Bowl weekend. And it was like a couples event. So we were performing poetry for couples, but at least she had a TV in the green room.
Yeah.
And she was just nominated for a Grammy. She didn't win. Shout out to Chris Sheba.
Oh man, well, shout out to that. That's hard to get nominated for in the first place. But yeah, that is interesting too, because like I just the fact that you scheduled it on the Super Bowl day already lets me know the vibes. Like y'all don't care.
It wasn't even on your schedule.
Yeah, I'm about to show up and y'all gonna be like, "Why you want to put the TV on NBC?" And I'm like, "Well, because y'all not watching the game."
Yeah, everybody watching it.
But low key, here's a secret though. Low key. Super Bowl Sunday is the best time to have an event because you're going to get everybody who don't care about the Super Bowl. There's not a lot of people who don't watch football, but if you have something, it's the only thing to go to that's non-football if you have something on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, facts. It's going to definitely be people that's committed to the cause. Like they don't deal with no distractions. How do you deal with the Super Bowl in the post-Kaepernick era? Because I feel like I can't bring up the Super Bowl around certain folks without them letting me know. Like they treat me like I told them I'm still smoking crack, where it's like, oh yeah, man, I can't wait to see which one of these black quarterbacks wins the Super Bowl. And they be like, oh, so you just watching the Super Bowl? And I want to be like,
you still on that stuff, brother?
I just want to be like, Colin Kaepernick is 60. Like it's not happening. Like the boycott is over for everybody. We got to move on. But like, I feel like doing what you do for a living, being in the spaces you're in, is that a thing you run into a lot with being like, even like a casual fan of the NFL?
No, I don't, because here's the thing, right? Like, I gotta admit, like, I was one of those, you still watching football? No, I wasn't like really like that, right? Because what happened was when what happened to Colin Kaepernick happened, it kind of ruined for a few years my appetite for football. So I wasn't like boycotting like in solidarity or anything. It was like I just didn't care, right? Like, and part of it was probably because I was a Dallas Cowboys fan, and I just can't be a Dallas Cowboys fan anymore, man. Because of Jerry Jones, how he acted during that Colin Kaepernick thing. So like I lost my appetite, but I wasn't like looking at people through the side eye, because I realized like like what people think about boycotts is not actually historically accurate to how boycotts actually work. Like there's still people who think like we had the Montgomery bus boycott and it ended segregation, or it ended segregation in Montgomery, and that's like when I tell people, the Montgomery bus boycott didn't actually have like any impact on anything that happened. Like there was a court case, and individual acts is what ended segregation on Montgomery buses, not a bus boycott. I mean, it was cool for solidarity, but I think there's this notion of how we get history whitewashed and how we get the past whitewashed. And I'd be like, yeah, I mean, if you don't want to do it, you don't got to do it. I generally just don't mess with people who don't mess with me.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too, because like the amount of organization behind like a boycott act back then versus like just being like, man, I don't listen to that song no more. I feel like somehow the two get conflated, where like people now are like individually on their TikTok, Instagram, whatever, being like, I ain't watching this movie. It's like, that's cool. Not the same as necessarily organizing your community, giving demands, having a day.
It's work.
Yeah. And like you said, there's also, attacks from different elements, because like Rosa Parks, that's a designed like action. Like, we want to go to court. We're ready for this fight. That is not just she got on the bus. Like the story, of course, is like she got on the bus and she wouldn't move her seat, and then you go back later and it's like, oh, they was ready for this action. They was hoping they wanted white people to think she got on the bus and didn't move her seat, and that it was that simple. But no, they was ready for the smoke. So I definitely feel that sometimes now, and I get it, because we're online, our thoughts are immediate, and of course this stuff that's happening is very traumatizing to people. So emotionally you lash out, and it's, we're not shopping at Target anymore or whatever. And I get it, because I mean, I'm much more like you, where I don't really boycott as much as I'll be like, okay, well, this isn't fun, and then I just like, I'm gonna head out.
I'll just go and do something else. And also, I think for me, it's the times have changed. It's not the same, because years ago we all had the same problem. Now all Black people don't have the same problems, because before, it ain't matter if you were rich Black, poor Black, middle Black, paper brown Black, sky Black, all the Blacks had the same issues. But now Blacks are everywhere. You got some Black people that are rich, they be like, that's not my problem, and I'm poor people problems. You have Black people that feel like I'm not connected to Blackness, like whatever it is, and it's not organized. And on top of that, you had leaders, you had people that made decisions, and everybody just was like, okay, but everybody wants to be a leader, and you can't have 1,000 leaders in a movement. And everybody think that their individual movement is making something happen, and it don't work like that.
I also think, in addition to like not just leaders, you had orgs. Like the leaders had to organize a group of people. It wasn't like now I could technically, I won't obviously, but I could technically go on Twitter and be like, guys, I'm an activist now, I'm a leader. And like, as far as Twitter's concerned, I've checked the boxes. Like there's gonna be some skeptical people.
You ain't did no paperwork,
but there's gonna also be some people that's gullible. Like, hey man, Rod, an activist now. He said so Sunday.
You ain't applying for no 401.
So it is different, and I wonder how like our loss of, or maybe you could say game, but our change from direct physical to digital has changed stuff, because like a digital connection to me is not the same as like even, and this is something that may seem archaic to people, but even like a church leader, because many times back in the day, the church leader would be the leader in the community for Black folks. But the church leader had to come in there every Sunday, look some people in the eyes. They knew where to find him. They could come by his house. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a little bit more accountability, because you didn't have a choice but to be accountable, because you had to go sell that idea. Whatever your thing was, you had to go sell it to people. And I don't think it's the same selling something as a retweet or whatnot. So I agree. I do think it's kind of changed. But Michael, what have you been like thinking about, like some of this, like these companies are rolling back all this DEI shit, which, I mean, come on, we knew that was coming, but they rolling back all this DEI shit, and now it feels like people are kind of scattering to find like something to do to like I guess, show like so I don't know, there's like a way to like get back at these companies. Like, what have you been looking at this stuff? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, man. One of my thoughts is like Karen was saying, it used to be like, what they did affected all black people. That's still kind of true, right? Like all of those black people who were Ivy League graduates and were millionaires and were, had good jobs in corporate America. Like they really just said, hey, y'all niggas too. That's what the whole DEI thing was. Like all y'all niggas, like we're gonna make it so that all of y'all niggas. And so I think one of the things that we got to do, I think the myth of like this collective community action is what they sold us. When you look at history, man, it really don't be that way. Like it really wasn't no leaders, right? Like Claudette Colvin, she was like riding home from school and she was mad because one of her homeboys was gonna be, given the death penalty. And she was like, I ain't moving. And then some more women was like, I ain't moving. And then they had a meeting and chose Rosa Parks, right? And so it was really the individual action. Now, Rosa Parks was the only one of those women who wasn't in the lawsuit, Browder versus Gale, that ended that discrimination. So it was just individual acts like, nah, y'all ain't gonna mess with me. Like, I'm just gonna take it upon myself. I ain't gotta be a leader, right? And I think that's what we gotta realize, man. Like, we don't have to we always hear like we got to unite and all get on the same page. No, man, we just got to have in our minds that I am not going to let these people fuck with my people, right? And you don't got to organize, you ain't got to have no meeting, or you can say, I'm not going to Target because I see Target doing that fuck shit, right? You can say, I'm not, messing with this company, I'm not messing with these people, I'm not messing with this platform. And then that's how you hold them accountable. You ain't got to wait for no organized community effort. We can support each other when we do that. But this is what I've been thinking about, right? We see Elon Musk and Zuckerberg and people like that, these oligarchs, right? And they're wielding their power. But you know what, man? Like, we kind of an oligarch too, right? Like, just think about the most powerful force in America is Black culture that we own, right? Just think about this, right? Just think about UMG. They are the most powerful force in the record industry. And they got the two biggest artists in the biggest musical genre in the world. And when those dudes wanted to take, control of the biggest event in their career, this Kendrick Drake beef, what they do? They just went in their house, recorded some music, and just gave it to the culture, right? Like they didn't need this whole oligarchy. And now the result is this dude performing at the Super Bowl. You just think about, what is Twitter? Twitter is really just Black Twitter, right? Right. When you think about music, when you think about entertainment, when you think about everything in America, it's, founded on Black culture. And we allow others to commodify it. And I ain't even getting, all, anti-white or just, I'm just saying that we have as much power as they have, right? We have culturally and individually and collectively, right? Like what we say is going to be the thing. And we got to realize that. And we don't have to come to a collective decision. Just start moving individually with that knowledge that, and here's how I look at it, right? Just think about everything you do is an investment into something. You got you are oligarch and you got millions of dollars. When you go to the store, you invest in some of that millions of dollars into whatever store you choose to go to. When you download a video, when you watch a TV show, what you're given is an investment of our culture into that company or entity or person. And if we start thinking about that, like what you're going to do with your investment, what you're going to do with your $1 million a day, then I think that is a strategy that doesn't necessarily require, because we ain't going to come to no collective decision on Twitter. Because if we do, we're not going to see it because Elon Musk is in control of the algorithm. So I think we can individually organize ourselves with that mindset.
I think that's so interesting because, like, you know, the way white people have set it up, like Elon Musk as an oligarch he don't got to run it by nobody. He just, it's just, he do some shit or whatever. But I do think the collective power of black people and black culture is like the most powerful export America has, the most powerful thing domestically America has. And it is so interesting because we have shut so many things down just because black people just stopped fucking with it. Like it wasn't like no one, like MLK didn't come out and tell us to stop fucking with it. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't a memo that went out, but it's just like certain stuff just stopped being powerful. It reminds me of like Iggy Azalea. Like there was never a moment that we canceled Iggy Azalea. It was just like, we don't fuck with her. And then it was like, she just went away. It was like, she didn't have a choice but to go away.
Right.
It was so, and it was to the point where even the people in the industry that had money on her success, like, so T.I., people that were like, they needed her to be successful. It made it uncool for them to be like, come on, guys, we really need to be successful. It was like, oh, okay, y'all don't fuck with her no more? I don't know her. I've never heard of her in my life. Like, that's how... So it does definitely work, and we've seen it work so many times. The other thing I keep thinking in this, like, the post-election moment, I think everyone's like spiraling and you know, looking for solutions and shit, and I really think people just gonna have to buckle down. It's really not, there's no quick thing happening.
Nope.
like
this
you,
instant right now.
Yeah.
The easy part was in November, and because you didn't do the easy part, now we have to deal with the hard part. And I think that's very hard for people to understand. And also, I think that a lot of people are going through the stages of grief and they don't really understand it. Like their denial, you know, acceptance, you know, rebellion, anger, like they're going through all the stages and they don't actually understand that's what they're dealing with.
So I think what I found the most interesting is the lecturing to all the people, like especially the people who like voted, the people who were like for harm reduction, all this stuff. There's a lot of like post-game analysis that's like, here's what y'all need to do next. And I was on Three Guys On yesterday and I was thinking about this. I think it was Charlotte Clymer, she's an activist, and she was talking about, she made a thread and black people was dunking on this shit like Dwayne Wade throwing alley-oops to LeBron James. It was crazy, but her point was like, yo, maybe we should be the ones to give these people an off-ramp from like Trumpism and from, you know, the like, I'm not voting. Both parties are saying like, give them a soft place to land so that they come back over and join this coalition.
That makes sense.
I don't think she's wrong, by the way. I don't think she's wrong.
Most people aren't willing to do that because they're angry.
This is America, and everything I've ever read in history says these are not necessarily good people, but you just need to get enough people, and they will go back and forth. There's a contingent of people that will go back, swing back and forth, swing the pendulum of the country one way or another through either apathy, anarchy, empathy for white racist bullshit, whatever it is. But the way it seems to work is like they fuck up, they let shit get fucked up, and then they swing back wildly like, hey, that was crazy, right? And it's like, you was just over there. And so that might be true. That might be true. Here's the thing though. Why are you talking to me?
Yeah.
I'm not in your way. I didn't do shit. I didn't do nothing wrong.
I did my job.
I'm not stopping you from talking to them people.
Nope.
If you want to go over there and hang out with them and see if you can convince them to stop being bigots and shit, you should go do that work. No one over here will ever stop you from doing that work. They might roll their eyes at you, but you just need to deal with that. If this is going to be, because collectively asking 47% of the electorate to be like, guys, can we just be nice to these people? No, we can't. We did what we were supposed to do.
Yep.
So I just think it's funny how so much of it is like, here's what we need to do. I'm good. I think I know what I need to do. I need you to go do what you prescribe to me to do.
Yes.
Unless your whole point is like, I need you to go do this work, which is not gonna happen.
Nope.
Like, people are tired of working on the behalf of someone else. I think what is funny, especially for like black folks and black voters, a lot of times we vote for ourselves, our own self-interest. That, you know, that's fine. That's every human being. But I should be helping everybody.
Yes.
Like, it's not like you, like I can't be more altruistic than I was. Like I there's a lot of shit that don't really affect my life that just helps you because we out here together. Where I'm like I look at you and I be like, I don't really understand that, but I don't know. Like, fuck it. Like, you want to be free? I want to be free. We're not the ones quibbling. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not the ones like, wait, we gonna get free and they gonna get free? I think I'll go with Trump. Like, what, 10% of us do that? 90% of us do the right thing. So, like, I think that's why it's such a backlash moment. But, like, part of me wonders if inherently that sort of, like, lecturing attitude is this, like, holdover from, like, all the way back to, like, slavery. To where it's like, the blacks need to be told what to do. They need to, someone got to tell them. They would never know on their own. It's like, we the ones that know. We the one pick Joe Biden for y'all dumbass. Like, we know.
Don't get me started on that. Yes, I did.
We know y'all more than y'all know y'all. Stop fucking talking to us. So I think, I wonder if we're at an inflection point at some point where it's going to get angry the other way, where now you need to talk to me nice. Because we, like, you're talking about how we need to talk to these people that hate us nice. When you want to talk to me nice.
Yeah, man, I always think of it like, so most of my journalistic career has been in black media, right? You know, one of the things I'm here to talk about today is, you know, I started a new project called Contraband Camp, because, like, I've always been talking to us. So, like, I never approach anything. You know, we worked on Drapetomaniacs with the idea, like, we ain't talking to white people. Like, I do not have them in my head when I construct an argument. But I also understand that when I'm talking to black people, I'm talking to black people who, a lot of them say, well, what the white people gonna think? Well, what the white people gonna do? What if we do this? You know what white people are going to do. And I think that we have to get to a point where we are comfortable enough with ourselves and comfortable enough and confident enough to say, like, it is not going to matter what they think, because whatever they think, if they don't think what we're thinking, they're thinking something that harms us. Mm-hmm. So there is no reason to conjecture what white people are thinking. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, what white people have always throughout the history of this country been wrong on every single thing. On the Native Americans, on slavery, on, you know, Jim Crow, on, like, every single time, in every single thing that affects black people and things that affect anyone who is not white, they're going to be wrong. Why would you consult the people who are going to be wrong? Right? Like it's like cheating off a test with the dumbest with the dumbest person in the class, right? Like, why are you looking on the dumb dude's paper to see how he answered the question, right? So that's what I always think, right? Like, I don't necessarily, like, when white people come and you know, say, you know, I want to be, you know, I stand in solidarity with you, or we need to build coalitions. I'd be like, yeah, go tell your people, right? Like, you ain't got our people. I don't know what you want me to do, right? Like, I can't convince white people, right? Go get your people, right?
Low key, one of the dopest moments they had is fucked up because black people picked on it. But one of the dopest moments they had was the Pussy Hat March. I was like, yes, that's what they should be doing. Go gather your folks and y'all get out there and y'all march. And y'all go do the thing. Like, and at the end of the day, they had, like, black women that were on the stage being like, this is where y'all fucked up. I was like, this is a good, who organizes? This is a good job. Like, leave us out of it. We don't, like, we're always on the beat. You know what I mean? Literally, figuratively, twos and foes. We're always on the beat. It's y'all that stray off. And you know, it's the empathy they have for their family members and shit. Like, you know, some of my family voted for Trump. Well, that's not my problem. Like, none of mine did. And if they do, we don't eat their potato salad when it comes to fucking November and Thanksgiving. So, like, that's a problem y'all got to handle internally.
Right.
I think it's also interesting too, because you mentioned Contraband Camp, man. Can you, like, tell people what it is and you know, what this new project entails?
So Contraband Camp, I was thinking, you know, just like you started out talking about today, right? Like, how do we communicate with each other, right? So, you know, I've been lucky enough throughout my career to just gather and build connections with a bunch of people like you, right? And I was like, why don't we have a site? You know, we saw every place, the Washington Post, the LA Times just capitulate. Like, I mean, I guess we MAGA now, right? And I think, and you know, with Twitter tampering with its algorithm, I was like, yeah, we need a place where with voices people can trust, that like ain't giving them no bullshit. Because I mean, if I'm being honest, man, if you look at Black media, I was a part of Black media and was in Black media when I watched it do the same thing that white. It's not just white media, right? I watched it for like I watched like sites that were the only place that Black people were practicing journalism say, yeah, we're going to pivot to news and money, like entertainment, and we're going to, you know, do 7 Beyonce stories a day, or we're going to just become aggregators. And it's really not white journalism, it's capitalism, right? And so I said, well, what if we just have a place that is like old school newspapers? And what I mean by that is they subscribe and support it, right? Like how newspapers used to survive is off of the people who had subscriptions. So I started Contraband Camp, and I thought I had rise numbers. It's a funny story. I thought I had rise numbers. I invited a bunch of them to literally like down to the middle of nowhere, because we thought we were going to get together for the inauguration. Of course, that didn't happen. So we had a launch, man, and it is like the journalists like Ellie Mastal covering justice in the Supreme Court, and you know, Natasha Brown talking about activism, and even stuff like how to keep yourself sane, right? And you know, we're gonna have like Wes Lowry covering, you know, police shootings and the press. And if you don't know that name, like probably the journalism prodigy of the last generation. This dude had 2 Pulitzers before he was 30. Created like literally the dude who said, you know what, we should start counting how many people police kill. And then they just started counting how many people police kill, because before then they didn't.
There's no database, yeah.
And so I think, and so what we did is we formed a collective where we all share in the profits and the like nobody's doing it for free. And what I discovered, man, is just like I was saying earlier, bruh, it is profitable, right? Like we're not gonna get rich, but like just Black folks supporting this project, like we're able to pay everybody. We don't have to skimp on any more than they would write for anybody else. And so, and the idea, the name comes from the fact that like after the Civil War, Black people just started running away. And so many people started running away, the union had to form what they called contraband camps, because remember now, we were technically property. So they were stolen property, but they had stolen themselves. Right. So the federal government, Congress came up with the term for them called contrabands. So if you ran away and stole yourself, you were called contrabands. And contraband camp, almost every majority Black city or majority Black neighborhood started out as a contraband camp. They would gather in these camps and they built schools. And that's where Black folks registered to vote. That's where the idea of the American education system came from, the contraband camps, right? Like and so I think that is the thing that we have to do now, right? Like steal ourselves and build our communities. And that's why the name of the place is Contraband Camp. Contrabandcamp.com.
I was gonna ask you that. That's dope, man. It's also interesting too, because like you brought up just now, the public education system basically is Black people. Like Black people, especially Black people in the South, basically made America's public education system. And now 2025, they're talking about defunding the Department of Education. And you know, not to get all third eye open, conspiracy minded, but it always just feels like they think niggas. Like when they hear that, they're like, And you know that now, of course, at this point, everybody is benefiting from the Department of Education.
Most people's children are, because most people cannot afford private school.
Yeah. And I know like that I know that in their minds or whatever, they might not even be aware of it. Like, I don't even know that they're thinking a direct connection the way that I am, but it feels like it, like the fact that that's a priority for you. Sure, Republicans will benefit from less educated people, period. People, you know, in their minds, they like the idea that people don't know the history of America, so they can kind of give them the history that they want them to have.
Right.
But even still, like, you would think if you're going to indoctrinate people, you want the Department of Education. You just force them to indoctrinate people like they do in some states now, where it's like, no, don't teach them about that shit. Teach them, tell them it was happy slaves. You know what I mean? Like they do that already, but to completely try to bankrupt it feels like this Trump administration is the fruition of 200 years of like, how do we get these niggas back in the thumb, just because some of their initiatives, like some of the things they're attacking, they're so racialized. I'll get into a couple more things, but like the Department of Education is black progress that benefited everyone.
Yes.
And it feels like they're taking a shot at black progress. Like, nah, same thing with DEI, mostly white women off getting the affirmative action jobs. Like it's more of a like, they're so good at constructing a narrative and understanding how powerful a story is, even when it's a lie, that it feels like they're now trying to complete that story and be like, and then we got the country back because we took away all the shit that the black people gave us. And now you're welcome. America's great again. Oh, you ain't got no insurance? Oh, don't worry. You got a job, right? Oh, the eggs cost too much. Oh, damn, that's crazy. But at least the black people ain't got shit. So y'all should be good.
Right. And the thing is, I've said this years ago, and when I would tell people this, they were like, Karen, you crazy. I've always said the goal has been slavery. And like once slavery got kind of broken apart, they was like, we want it back. We don't care how long it takes. We don't care how many generations are going to die. We don't care. We're going to teach our children. We're going to revamp it, rename it, package it to something else. Oh, we in a digital age. We're going to take the shit online. We're going to take the hoods off. We're going to name it Proud Boys. We don't care. Whatever it takes to get it back to slavery. That has always been the goal.
Now, when you say, people always say, Karen, you crazy. Has that actually ever happened? Has anyone ever said you was crazy when you said this? I feel like you've said this many times on the show. And no one's ever said you was crazy.
You know what? I also think that sometimes I be in my own brain, and I always think it's somebody out there in the world that goes, that's not true. And I'm like, that is.
They might have thought it. I'm sure that they thought it. I don't think anyone's ever written in. We've never had a guest on the show at the time that's like, now, Karen, hold on. I feel like everybody's like looking around like, I don't know, feels slavey to me.
Yes, but you know, and also the thing is, because when you're dealing with people nowadays, people's sensitivity to that word sometimes be everywhere, and you be like, no, I really do mean what I'm saying. And
it's just funny that every time you bring this up, you talk about how people call you crazy. And I'm just like, I've been here every time you've ever brought it up. No one said you're crazy. We know the history of this country. I think they just put new names on it.
Yes.
Immigrants are slaves to them.
Yes,
prison labor is slavery. Like they just remixing the shit, but it's the same recipe. You know, it's bang bang shrimp. It's the same recipe over and over. But it's the same shit, dog.
Yes.
You fucked me up with when you said bang bang shrimp is, because you right, man. Like bang bang shrimp never fails. Right?
Never miss.
Right. Like when you said that the other day, I was like, he's right. Like it's foolproof.
I will absolutely order bang bang shrimp on any menu, anywhere I'll ever go. There's nothing consistent like that.
No, it's not.
There's zero things. If you put grits on every menu, I'm like, everybody grits ain't good grits, dog.
They not.
Everybody bang bang shrimp, good bang bang shrimp. None of it's the same.
No, none of it's also
but they're all good.
But I also agree with Karen in that, like, I understand why Karen say, like, people say I'm crazy, because you feel like if you're the only one saying this, like people must be thinking this is crazy, a crazy thing to say because it's
Right.
so clear and nobody's saying that shit, right? Like
it's not right. It's not
alone.
It's not on any TV program. You know, there's very few books out there that will just flat out say it. You know, not that there's none, but there's very few that will flat out just be like, y'all know they're trying to bring back slavery. It's such a conversation stopper.
Yes.
You know, I'm reading The Cruelty is the Point, and the opening few chapters, what I love about it is how much it's saying something that I've been feeling, especially after the election, which is, oh no, what's handicapping us is we just can't say what's happening. It's not that, like, we're watching the same things happen from the beginning, but it's like if I tell you, like, oh no, they just racist, they wasn't gonna vote for a black woman, it don't matter what she did. Well, hold on. Okay, so the economy. Now listen, some people just feel this way about Palestine. I'm like, I feel like if it was a white person, they would have found a way to reconcile that shit.
Yeah.
And because I can't just say it, I can't be on TV. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
I can't. There's certain spaces we can have this conversation here. We own this, but there's places you can't even have this conversation.
Nope.
And so I recognize now how unfair that playing field is. How unfair. How much of it feels like gaslighting to have a black person in a space where they can't be like, oh yeah, because of the racism, and they're like, whoa, what are you talking about?
Yeah. We have to play.
But I agree. Like, that's why I think, but you can say it, right? Like, I think, I don't think everybody can say it, because what happens is, like, I am not afraid to say it.
Right.
And because I'm not afraid to say it, like, black people have supported, because, like, black people are like, oh yeah, that dude just said the thing that we was thinking, right? And you can just say the thing that or write the thing that black folks are thinking, because it's not crazy. Like, I feel like everybody else is crazy because I'm watching all of this shit and nobody's saying racism. They crazy, right? Everybody else is crazy because they're making up all of these crazy things, economic anxiety, and it's the cost of eggs, and maybe it's Palestine, and and it's DEI, and it's like, no,
it's funny. Like, I'll see a clip every once in a while on a timeline of, like, Bill Maher or somebody, and like the underpinning to his arguments, it's always like, this stuff with this woke is getting out of control. It's really just, and I'm like, and then it made you be racist? That's not, like, those two things not supposed to go together. Like, it's one to be annoyed. I think every single person on the planet, no matter how good of a person they are, has had an eye rolling moment at something. It's just, you're human being. Someone introduced a new concept and you like, we gotta do that shit too. Okay, what I didn't do is then be like, and that's why I think it's okay to bring back slavery. Like, there's something wrong here, and the fact that we can't bring up that part to, like, Bill Maher without being like push, like posh out of the way, because that's kind of what they do, to dismiss it out of hand. Like, oh, come on, racism, come on now.
Yeah,
it's like, that's the obvious fucking answer, dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm with you, Mike. What happens, I think, is that the space that you exist in becomes, quote unquote, limited, not by anything you're saying, but by the fact that it's truthful, and there's a level of denial in a certain part of the populace.
Yes.
That is like,
but is it though? Let's think about this, right? So, is it limited? I think we believe it's limited, but it's not limited, right? Like, so just take my book, for instance. It says all that shit.
Right.
No history book, not a white one or a black one. It sold more than that book since it came out. None, zero. So where's the limit? I'm on CNN and MSNBC, just like the white people who say the white things or people who scared to say the things are ordinary, right? Like, I was thinking this morning, right, when you talk about drapetomaniacs, man, like, do you know how crazy it is that they let us do that? Right?
Like, I love that show. I was like I want
like
season of it.
They let us do a TV show, like, and pay people like they working for TV for a podcast. Like, we had we had money to pay people to compose a soundtrack every episode, right? Like, original music, licensed music that like Pharrell had our theme song. It was crazy. We had a writer's room. We had a music supervisor. We had, like, and the idea that, like, and we were saying the blackest shit you can say.
Right.
Right. And I think that we think that
here's what I think. Here's what I'm saying. I don't think it's limited in the attempt or even the artistry or any of that stuff. I think because it's America, it becomes limited in the scope of who will be willing to entertain it. Mostly because, and it's not our fault. It's nothing we can do about this shit. I'm like, I don't feel bad about this at all. But it's like how because there's people at the top who select like what the fuck are we fucking with? You know what I mean? Who are our cultural gatekeepers and whatnot? And some of them do shit like buy the Washington Post or whatever and decide like, actually, we're not talking about Trump this year for the first time ever. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that what the people wrote in the editorial isn't true, but it becomes limited in its reach because they control how much of the reach comes out, right? So is the effort is there, but I'm just saying, imagine a world where these motherfuckers weren't pushing down, where they were like, yeah, well, you wrote the editorial, it's out. Draped on Maniacs season 2, season 10, like we like push this shit as hard as it can. Like, let's put this shit in the algorithm. When people log into Spotify, first thing they see is like, oh, you listen to this, you gonna like Draped on Maniacs. It's certain, like when we were with Spotify, there was a thing where every week we had these meetings. It's like, what can you do to promote the show? You know, whatever, right? And it's like, you can make the show this long. You can have these guests. You can do this. I'm like, we do all this shit already, but sure, whatever y'all say, we'll try it. And then one day, these motherfuckers was like, hey, this for the next 2 weeks, we're gonna make it so that when people log in, if they listen to like other podcasts in this genre, it's gonna tell them listen to Blackout Tips. Numbers go straight through the roof.
Yes, it does.
Then 2 weeks later, we have another meeting. They're like, what can we do to promote the show? I'm like, nigga, you know.
You saw the numbers.
You told me just now. Like, I've been toiling. Like, you can turn on the faucet the same way you do for Joe Rogan. You just don't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. It's not necessarily, I don't think, like, it's not a reflection on the art or any of that stuff. It's, the difference to me is like, CNN could have the Michael Harriot show, but Michael Harriot gonna say some real shit that you can't really control all the time. So it's like, we'll have him as a panelist, and if the shit don't work out, you know, just stop having him as a panelist. So it's that, and more than likely, there's someone fighting for you to make sure that you even get on there to be like, we need to have Michael Harriot involved in this conversation. That's the legacy of our ancestry. That is the fight we will always have to be a part of. But wouldn't it be nice to be in a place where we didn't have to fucking fight to just be like some real shit? Like, you know, Bomani, love this dude. It's my brother. One of his things he always say is like, man, part of how I got to where I got to is I just know how to talk to white people. It's like, I can still say some real shit, but I have to know how to talk to them. And it's absolutely right. And it's definitely part of his success. And at the same time, I'm like, a playing field where we have to know how to talk to just specifically them, where like, you can't ever call a person racist, is kind of a fucked up playing field. Cause me and you both know privately that motherfucker racist. And,
right.
And a motherfucker can do a Nazi salute, and we gotta be like, well, they say he autistic. Nah, nigga, he saluting Nazis, dog. What are we talking about? So that's what I mean. It's not about anyone's personal, integrity.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Cause like, I feel the same way, but one of the things is like, I'm probably the opposite of Bomani. Like, I was like homeschooled in a black neighborhood. So I literally never learned how to talk to white people. Right. I remember like when I was in like my first year going to public school, and they skipped me a grade, and then there was only one other black person in this class. And I made this joke, like it was time for social studies. And I was like, oh, we're about to study the thing where black people didn't exist before 1865. And the other black person laughed, and I got in trouble, right?
That's hilarious.
Right.
And so, but that wasn't instructive, right? But when we were going home, when we were walking home, because we used to walk home because it was an all-white school. So walking back to our neighborhood, it was like a group of black folks, my sisters, her brother. Yeah. And she tells the story of what I said, and everybody gasped. Like, yeah, oh, you said that in front of white people?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I realized, oh, like, I don't know how to talk to white people.
Yeah.
So we gotta that's a thing, like an extra lesson that all of us have to learn. And you're right, like it would be nice to work.
It would be nice. Like I'm just only thing I'm doing is recognizing the playing field's fucked up. That's it. It ain't even about like this isn't prescriptive in any way. Like I don't have a solution for this bullshit. I know in many periods of many things that are quote unquote limits of the way I've navigated life are just limits I've chosen to have because I'm like, I ain't talking to him like that, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
somebody else can do that work.
I see how to do it. I see it. Like I could make some change. There was a thing we tried to do to promote our show, behind the scenes where it's like we got a live show coming up. We want to talk to some local folks, and so we have like our local like news station that's kind of like it's a political station even if they don't want to say they are, and political in that they're dedicated to the truth, which of course makes you liberal now. So it's a pretty liberal radio station, but I was like, let's reach out to them, see if maybe we can do like an advertising campaign or like be interviewed or something to promote the show. We've dealt with stuff like this in the past. And the notes we got back was we listened to the show and it's too political and it's kind of vulgar. And I'm like, oh, because we just weren't thinking about white folks. Like, we just did not make a show where we were like, don't say racist, say racial. That, hey, you know what? Don't say the N-word. Okay, they're not comfortable with that. We didn't even think about them while we do the show. And so there's a loss that we have to take, quote unquote. We can never work with that person, but I'm okay with it.
Yes,
I feel happy. I feel like there's a cost that we all have to do when we compromise like that. And every black person, you gotta make your own measurements on where you want to, because I ain't telling nobody to go broke. So make your own measurements on where you want to like keep it real and not. And this is a place where we've chosen not to do that. But yeah, it's definitely like something I'm aware of now in a way that is it's become somehow my number one thing that I view in life after the election, where I'm like, that's just not a place I can say the real shit.
And
go ahead, Karen.
And also something that I am very glad is that we control our platform, which is something that a lot of people don't do. They don't have the rights, they don't own it, and type of thing. So we can just say things and we don't have a producer, somebody in the background or some network coming behind us and say, don't say that, don't do that, you can't say this, you said nigga too many times, we're keeping count, or whatever it may be, whatever their quotas are. And I appreciate that, because it's one of those things, like Roger said, we can say things and just be like, well, it is what it is, And same thing with Michael, you have enough people that support you and support your vision that you can sustain a lifestyle off of it. You might not ever be quote unquote rich, but you won't be without, because you understand that.
And black folks will support us.
Yes.
And that's enough for me. I get that it's not enough for everybody, Snoop, but for me, it's enough. You know what I'm saying? I'm like this. I'm cool. I'm cool marking out this level of territory.
Yeah, and it's cool, like, to surround yourself with those people, like, and you won't have to fight as much. Like, I remember, man, like, I don't even know if you even know some of these stories, man. Like, when we were doing Drapetomaniacs, we would have some of the wildest meetings with the white people. That's what we used to call the meetings.
I don't know these stories. I wasn't in the white people meeting.
So, so for backstory, like, the two producers of Drapetomaniacs were black women who, like, I didn't know them. I think Pharrell found them. I didn't know them before we started working with them. And they just turned out to be like the realest people you could work with. Like, the reason it was a success was because of them. Right. And so, I would get into meetings and the people would be talking to me.
Is it Nolika and Janisha? Those
right.
Two?
Exactly. Yes. Nolika, Janisha. And so I would get into meetings and I would be able to sit back because I know, like, they weren't going to let these folks slide. Like, I remember there was one, like, right before the show even started, they had hired this advertising company to create this package and these animation designs for the show. And one of them was like a white person whipping a black person.
Oh no.
Like, it was in the animation, like the opening of the show.
Ooh.
And I was like, yeah, I don't think like you could take that part out, right?
Right.
And like, yeah, so we they said, okay, yeah, we'll make a note of that. And like we moved on, and Janice was like, hold on. I want to know, I want to understand the thought process where you thought that would be okay.
You thought that was okay.
Yeah, explain to me why, like I don't understand why you thought that was okay. And so like that was one of our first things that I realized, oh yeah, I don't even really have to
also
fight.
like that is the part that is to me like it's almost, I don't want to say it's selfish, but there's benefits. Like I don't feel like we're sacrificing knowing our audience is like mostly black, and if they're not black, they're comfortable with us being black. I don't feel like I'm sacrificing, because mentally this is the healthiest version of an audience I could have. I don't want to deal with the people writing in and being like, my grandfather said that some of the slaves were happy and singing. Are you sure that if we bring back slavery is bad? Never going to get that question from our audience. Thank God. And there's some people who've made a choice to go into spaces where that's going to be a question. You know, everyone that's ever done a plantation tour knows that that's a fucking question. That once you let some people in the room, it's like, here we go with the bullshit. And I'm glad those people do that work, but I'm glad that we chose not to. But it's partially selfish, right? It's partially like, I don't feel like dealing with that shit.
Nope.
Yeah. but you know what, man? Like, it works because, like, I'm going to listen to your show. Like, you don't have to have, like, Beyonce on.
Right.
As a guest. You don't got to work and try to get Beyonce on as a guest for your audience to listen to your show. It's not dependent on anybody else. Like, they here for you, and you got a stable audience, which is what the entertainment industry is looking for. Somebody who has a stable audience, right? Like when Spotify turned on the faucet, right? They are bringing people who like would normally listen to your show, but some of those people are going to stay, right?
Yep. Right.
And that's the benefit, right? Because they're giving other people the benefit of that faucet, right? Like that's the things that they're keeping it from us. Like, and we support Spotify too, right? Like some of those subscriptions belong to us, and they turning off the faucet.
Yeah, it's just funny to think like it's just so funny to think like there's some people that just never had the faucet turned off. Never. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of goes all the way back to the beginning when I talked about that thread from Charlotte Clymer, right? You've never had the faucet off, so your advice don't even work for us. Like I'm over here like, nah, we've been making a pot of water out of 2 drips my whole life. So y'all welcome to the party, but maybe you go over there with your big ass buckets of water and you figure out how to feed them people. But also I feel like this moment post-election or whatever, and with the Trump blitz on like everything people love and hold dear, I think it's just putting people in a panic space. It's fucking people up. Like every day you look up, there's like a new fucking 10 new things that he's doing. And I think it's funny to say, but I saw a video from Plies talking about like Democrats and being like, why the fuck do y'all keep talking about what the fuck he want to talk about? And I'm sitting over here like nodding my head, agreeing with Plies. I'm like, wow, 2025. It brought me Plies sitting in his car, Mr. Sweet Pussy Sundays, whatever. It done brought me all the way here to be like, you know what? Y'all need to listen to Plies. He making some good fucking points.
Some points.
Because some of this shit is very like, it's almost like a reality TV show the way Trump governs, I'm putting in quotes, where a lot of stuff isn't actionable. A lot of stuff is illegal. A lot of stuff gets struck down in the courts, gummed up. A lot of stuff is not as simple as they say. But if you do 10 things a day, it just, no one's ever able to focus and fight back on specifically one thing.
Yes.
Like one of the things I saw an article that said Trump won't deport Prince Harry. And I'm like, who give a fuck? Like, if you're not Meghan Markle, who give a fuck? Don't they live in Canada anywhere or some shit? Or they live with, like, they live in California, but they rich. They'll be all right. I bet you they got more than one house around the globe. Not that I want them kicked out, but it's just on my list of things. If you were like, Rod, there's a list of things Trump want to do that might fuck with your life. I don't want to say last, but Prince Harry might be last on my list. Oh, no offense to Prince Harry, but he might be the dead lastest ass thing on my list of like, fuck, not that. You know what I mean? But it is interesting that they point our attention to shit like that because, you know, hopefully no one takes the bait. You know, hopefully like Nancy Pelosi ain't in front of their house tonight. Like, guys, we're not giving up Prince Harry, because then everybody would just judge. They'll just judge the Democrats for doing that shit. But these stories are not real stories.
Yeah, you know, man, you know what it's like, right? You ever had, I mean, I'm sure you have, because everybody knows a dude who is just like real offensive. He just like asks everybody, like really like goes through a party and say, "Hey girl, you want to give me some pussy?"
Yeah.
And he'll just like, he'll ask everybody that. And it is crazy. But the crazy thing about it is, like, if he asks 100 people like one time, it works for him.
It's the numbers game.
He's a crazy guy. It's a numbers game. And that's what Trump is doing. Like, all the chaos, he just like said, you know, well, let's just take Joe Biden's security clearance and let's just let Elon Musk get everybody's social security numbers. And let's just, you know what I'm saying? And let's just put some 19-year-olds in charge of the Treasury Department. And let's just put a quack scientist in charge of the CDC. And while everybody's like, hey, no, you can't do that. Like, one of those things is gonna work. Like, Elon Musk got your social security number. Like, you should know that Elon Musk has your social security number. The richest man in the world who owns the biggest social media platform. If you say something against you, I guarantee you he can look up your social security number.
Yep.
It works, right? Yeah. And the thing is, we can't. The Democrats are saying, hey, maybe not the Department of Government Engineering, and maybe we should look at this thing. No, bro, we should say he's crazy. Like, stop going. Like, keep this guy out of the party.
Yeah, Plies made a good. It's so funny to say that sentence, but yeah, Plies made a good point. He was like, "Hey, man, talk about the shit he don't want to talk about." And I was like, "Yeah, facts. They don't want to talk about them planes. They don't want they don't want to talk about like every day we wake up new plane crash, and y'all the ones that are bankrupting those departments. You know, y'all of course y'all don't want to say that shit."
Yeah, I would start every Democrat, because they brought up this conversation, the price of eggs. Every Democrat, every statement should start with, the price of eggs today is blah, blah, blah. Now let's talk about blah. This. The price of eggs is blah, blah. The price of gas is blah, blah, blah. Now let's continue with this subject we're going to talk about.
Yes, because they asked him about the price of eggs, and he said some shit like, hey, man, who knows why egg prices go up? It's like, bitch, you was prescribing the solution a month ago. You was like, I'm going to get them down. As soon as I get in office, them egg prices coming down. Now you don't know. It's just fucking, it's up to God. Nah, bro, let's talk about them eggs that you don't want to talk about. He also signed an executive order banning transgender female athletes from competing. Once again, one of these social things that's not
they don't want to run shit.
It's not really an issue that's affecting people's lives. It's not really governing. It's just more of a like, here's a sign, we hate trans people. I'm giving the biggest what they wanted. And also like not really actionable. Like, people will comply with it. Like, you'll see the NCAA, and like I think there's a lot of people who want out of these discussions, who like Trump as a convenient excuse to get out. Like private companies that get rid of their DEI, they just want out of the discussion. Yeah, there's no reason.
They just want to run a business.
He's not doing shit to them. Because the ones who thumb their nose at him, like Costco, is like, nigga, suck my dick with Costco. The fuck you gonna do? And he's like, 19 attorney generals agree with me. They wrote you a letter. Okay, we wiped our ass with that letter, and we're gonna keep doing what the fuck we do.
We a private owned business.
Okay, well, yeah, shit, I guess it ain't nothing we can do. You are a private business, and we just was hoping y'all would want out. But there were companies that I think wanted the off ramp. You know, if you're like Budweiser and motherfuckers been, you know, against your beer and shooting it, you know, Kid Rock shooting cases of it, you probably been thinking for a minute like, how the fuck do we get out of this? But don't make it look like it's our fault. You know, if you're the NFL, who are still like doubling down on DEI, which is so funny, but taking in racism off the end zone thing at the Super Bowl, you just want out of the discussion. That's what you want, because the fact that I listen, I had to do research on this. Okay, wrote a whole fucking thing for Game Theory about it. The NFL and I'll say Roger Goodell because it's not the whole NFL. Obviously, it's definitely not the owners. Roger Goodell pretty committed to trying to be an ally. Not saying it's I don't know if it's just like a personal thing. I don't know if it's just a somehow a money thing for him. I don't know. I ain't saying he perfect, because I think there's areas, if you criticize the NFL and you black from inside, you can still find your way on the outside. So it ain't like he ain't an activist. He owns a business. He runs a business. But the motherfucker really could, if he wanted out, he had a lot of off ramps, and he keep being like, no. So I think he just don't want to talk about it no more. I really think he's like, I just don't feel like hearing y'all bitch about end racism in the end zone. Are y'all gonna drop your DEI programs? No. Are y'all gonna stop? I found, when I was doing this research, we found some charities and some causes they were giving to that we were like, do they know they giving to this shit? Like, one of them was abolish all policing, all prison. I was like, do they know they said yes to this? And I mean, I guess they do, because we made a show about it. It was reported and they didn't change shit. They're like, we're gonna keep doing it. So it is interesting because I whether companies want out of the DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion game, I don't know. I think honestly only time will tell. We'll find out which companies truly do want out. But I if you took a straw poll where you ain't say no CEOs' names, I bet it come back at like 98% being like, and we don't even want to talk about the shit. Even if we're gonna do it, we don't feel like the president coming on and talking shit about us. We don't feel like these Republicans boycotting or making these videos about we gonna run up in Target. We don't want to deal with that shit.
Yes, because for a lot of them, I'm gonna tell you the truth, it is a lose-lose situation. Like the people don't want to admit that. You got the racist people saying you're racist. You got the black people saying that you're racist. Everybody's saying that you're racist. So at the end of the day, you're like, you know what? We're still, because at the end, I feel like this. As long as a job gets done, I actually don't give a fuck about what you name it. But some people are like, put a name on it. You got to put a name on it. Why? Because the second you put a name on it, you're going to draw their attention and have the program canceled.
I think people want to feel like the companies are joining the fight with them, which is why we'll always have that, like, whatever that is. I'm not one of them people. No, I know you're not one of them people. It's fine.
Companies are not people, y'all.
Yeah, I know you're not one of them, but that's what I think people want. I just think there's an easy solution. Before the game today, NFL should just come out and be like, guys, we did it. We did it. We ended racism. We can take it off the end zone. Okay, we took care of that for y'all. Now we just gonna all fight together. We putting that instead, all fight together. And because that's the goal from now. We gonna all fight together. But now that racism is ended, okay, 2 black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl today. We did that. Okay.
Records.
The whole year y'all said we've been cheating for Patrick Mahomes. So we got his black ass up in there. Y'all say he don't deserve it. And the out of the other conference, you got Jalen Hurts. I mean, the nigga just basically runs. Okay, that's an old school black quarterback. That's what y'all been wanting since Randall Cunningham. Okay, so we did it. Racism is over. Kendrick Lamar halftime. We out.
That's perfect, right? Like, or just erase the end and leave just racism in the end zone. But
hey, yo, Trump might come on the field and take a picture with it if you just leave racism.
but one of the things, like, I agree with you, like, people really don't know that Colin Kaepernick shit worked, right? Like, the what he did is get hundreds of, literally $300 million to people who are out there doing the work that he knelt for. Right? Yeah. Like, he doesn't have to do, like, y'all say, what is Colin Kaepernick doing? Nah, bro, he got $300 million.
It's really crazy how, like, when we did that piece, it was so weird researching it, because it's almost like they don't want to talk about it. Because we reached out to interview the motherfuckers and everything, and it was like, no, we good. We just gonna keep doing the work. And it's like, you could almost say it's humble. You could almost say it's altruistic, but in a way it feels like y'all don't want to have to fight about the work. Like, y'all want to do it, but y'all don't want to be out here like being quote unquote distracted.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. And that's what we want. That's what we should want from white people, right? Really y'all don't talk to us. Like, we don't want no sign in the end zone, bro. We want the $300 million.
Yeah.
And we are like, if y'all keep doing the $300 million, y'all don't have to put shit in the end zone, right?
Yeah.
But the problem with that DEI stuff, though, is like we have to admit, like, some of that shit is something we didn't ask for a sign in the end zone. Nope. We didn't ask for, you know.
That was not.
You also have to realize these
technically we didn't ask for. Technically, we didn't ask for jobs.
No, we did not.
That's not when we said that to George Floyd was like, y'all hiring?
Stop killing us.
Yeah, and the corporations are not hiring, like putting black people on the payroll who are unqualified. That's a crazy thing for white people to believe.
Exactly.
Right? Like all of these corporations got together. You say, you know what? We're gonna give black folks, like, hire some highly educated black folks and just give them money for not doing anything. That's a crazy thing.
I know you'll appreciate this, Michael, too, because I mean, it's dark humor, but still, after the fucking plane crashed, and these niggas literally went and was like, you know, they had some black people working there. That was the old schoolest racism. It felt like throwback. Like W.B. Du Bois would have been like, I recognize this racism. Like, this is like his ghost is in heaven. Like, they still doing that? Damn. This is like some Taft
Michelin rating racism.
Yeah. God damn, like, it's almost impressive. I was like, I've never seen anything that racist.
Yeah, why should
y'all haven't even found the black box yet? And y'all like, why the box? I bet you the box was black. Don't you mean African American box? That's what caused the crash.
if you did a skit on Saturday Night Live, like, they wouldn't let that air. If you said, like, a plane fell out of the sky, and they said, well, what happened? Probably some black people driving the plane. I don't know.
Right.
Like, they were like, no, that's like, you got to be.
They might as well have. Trump might as well have sat in the Oval Office, turned his computer screen around, and started playing Soul Plane, and be like, "This was the fuck y'all let happen. That's why the plane crashed. Look,
this is the flight crew.
You got Monique eating lobsters in first class. I mean, what the fuck y'all expect to happen? Like, why is Kevin Hart on this motherfucker? Like, that's how they was treating it, and I guess in a way. It's almost sobering, because for me, it's like, this is the fuck I've been talking about.
Yes.
Like, how do you deny that? How do you look at a man, tell you, like, and it wasn't just Trump, because, like, you can dismiss Trump sometimes almost on, like, he just Trump. Fucking JD Vance is like, listen, maybe the plane crew was all white. I don't know. But they gotta work with black people, and that type of mental effort that we are asking white people to put up with in the office of just having to be around black people at all is the kind of thing make a plane crash. I mean, it's like, oh my God, a black person was in the bathroom today. Oh shit, I just flew into a fucking helicopter. Like, that is how they reacted. So, and he's the buttoned up, laced up one. Like, he's not supposed to be the crazy. So they really just think you can go look over there, some niggas, and everybody will throw out common sense and be like, it probably wasn't y'all, you know, cutting all these jobs. It wasn't y'all like shutting down funding for stuff. It probably was the blacks, right? That's where we're at. So, oh my God, it's amazing stuff. All right, let's get into a couple other segments, because I feel like I could talk about this bullshit all day. But I want to talk about some fun stuff as well with everybody. Let's get into something we can have fun with. Let's do some black capitalism.
Okay.
Let me pull up my black capitalism segment music, because it is a bop. Shout out to my man Felt 5. Wait, that's the long one. I want the short one. There we go.
Shout out to Will Smith. I hear y'all talking, but the only thing I'm listening to is that paper. Every day we get into that paper. I hear the money talking, see you later. Every day we get into that paper. I hear the money talking, see you later.
All right. some of these are old, but the Met Gala, apparently, A$AP Rocky, Coleman Domingo, and Pharrell are co-chairing the 2025 Met Gala, which would be honoring Black style, and LeBron James will be the honorary co-chair. Yep. It is an exhibition that is inspired by Monica L. Miller's book Slaves to Fashion, and damn, that's a good ass name.
Yeah.
Wow. She did that.
That shit is hard.
That shit hit hard. She did that. And we'll celebrate Black style from the 18th century to now with garments, paintings, and photographs that highlight the evolution of dapper looks in Black culture. Oh, man. It's sad because it's not going to happen now. But you know who would have killed this?
Who?
Jonathan Majors, dog.
That went right up his line.
Oh, God,
he already dressed like he from 1920.
Yeah,
he would have. He dressed like a Negro train porter.
Yes.
Yes.
Listen, I don't know where he shop at, but it's definitely a time machine involved.
Yeah.
You don't even know where you get them fits, man. Like, oh man, but yeah,
that newspaper boy hat, man.
Right, exactly.
They don't make them no more.
Oh my God, like he would show up in that Django outfit, you know what I'm saying, the blue one. Anyway, but yeah, but shout out to the rest of these guys. It'll be on view from May 6th to October 26th, 2025. And the exact dress code hasn't been announced yet, but it should be full of Black excellence and style. So congrats to those brothers. Hopefully they get a bag for that. I'm assuming.
I don't know. I think it goes to charity.
Okay.
For transparency's sake, yeah, I kind of work with that committee on that. So it is about the theme is Black dandyism. So it's not just the folks who were putting that shit on like in the 20s and the 30s, right? Like when Black folks really, like after a generation out of slavery, we started getting the ability to create our own styles. There was a group of dudes who like always wore suits and would kind of show off, and they were called dandies. And so the Met Gala is a tribute to Black dandyism. And I think, but I think, ain't no more. I don't know where Jonathan Majors gets his clothes from. Like, I think it's like a chimney sweep store, because like somebody got to still be cleaning chimneys, right? So they got to have stores where chimney sweeps get their shit from. I think that's it, bro. But
he's keeping them in business. He was like, wholesale, I want this in every color.
I don't know where that brother shop at, but I just imagine, like, I just can't imagine him going in a normal store. I just like it's almost like how John Wick go in a normal store, but then they take him to the special section with the guns. It's got to be like that, but with clothes for Jonathan Majors, where it's like, oh no, don't, that gentleman needs to go to the special section of Kohl's. We got you in the back, brother. Come on this way. Oh man, but yeah, he'll be there hopefully.
Like a deacon sharecropper or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Y'all got any jump in the broom tuxedos? I need like something that really
pay extra for the broom.
Lotto, the rapper.
Okay.
Lotto gifts fired Waffle House employee $10,000 for Brokey Challenge participation. So Lotto has stepped in to support a Waffle House employee who was terminated after her participation in the rapper's Brokey Challenge. So last month, the Brokey track quickly became a fan favorite from her album Sugar Honey Iced Tea. However, outside of the love for the song, many listeners felt as though Lotto was being condescending in her lyrics and making fun of the working class. But to right her wrong, she launched a $10,000 Brokey challenge, inviting fans to share videos of themselves showcasing their jobs. I hate that y'all think I was calling hard workers brokies, heartbreaking emoji. So I got $10K for whoever make the best video at their job to Brokey, and I'll fly you out to be in the music video. No more waiting till your B-day to go out of town. Tag me and hashtag Brokey so I can see them all. The challenge had so many participants, including TikTok user Yadira Ramirez, who chose to submit a video highlighting her job at Waffle House. The footage showed Ramirez and her colleagues harmlessly singing along the Lotto song while working at the restaurant. Shortly after it was posted, the video gained attention almost immediately, and it ranked in 23 million views on the platform.
Woo!
Despite Ramirez trying to score a big payday, she revealed just a few days later she had been fired for participating in the challenge. In the follow-up video, she was in apparent disbelief as she stated she has been an employee of Waffle House for 6 years. Wow, the life is tough. Okay, 6 years in the Waffle House, that's like doing a bid. I know she done seen some.
On camper.
Yeah. She said, I just got fired because of the video of Big Lotto's challenge. Yay. I'm glad I put 6 years in a company that would fire me for literally one video that harms nobody and that everybody was actually rooting for. Ramirez also stated she was placed on the AFR list, which means she could not return to work or be rehired. Waffle House got that? Huh.
Waffle House got a ban? Yes.
I thought Waffle House was like cops when after you shoot somebody, you just go to another Waffle House and work there.
Yeah, I think I know somebody who's like an executive in the hierarchy of Waffle House. But the thing about Waffle House is like when you go to Waffle House, is there anything that a person could have done that would be like, I don't think she should be working here? Like, oh, as long as they bring you a fucking check.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've seen people whoop somebody's ass at Waffle House and go right back to working. And this, I felt like that's a waffle. You need to be able to do that to work here.
But I don't want nobody who can't twerk or who don't be twerking on the internet, fixing my hash browns and scrambling my eggs. Nah, bro.
Nah, like, I think it would be weird if they were talking proper.
Yes, it would be.
I kind of want to look over at the grill and see a cigarette hanging out somebody's mouth. Like I kind of do.
You know who the scariest people in the world are to me? Have you if you go to a Waffle House at 3 a.m. and it's like a 58-year-old white dude working there, I'd be wondering what the fuck did he do?
Because he working night shift. He
white
did
dude.
Something. They like don't mess with that white boy here. Fuck everybody in here up.
Yeah, that's the scariest person in the world.
Life went wrong for him. You know what I mean? Somewhere. So fortunately, things for Ramirez took a turn for the better after Lotto learned of her termination. The Atlanta rapper later linked up with Ramirez to offer not only support but a $10,000 gift. Though Lotto hasn't officially declared her the winner of the challenge, Ramirez's aunt took to social media to confirm the niece took the crown. From having fun at her job, being fired to winning $10K from at Lotto, I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Time for the next level, she wrote. Time for the next level feels like y'all doing a lot, but yeah, it's good for her. It's good for Lotto. Hey, Black capitalism.
$10 if either one of you can name a Lotto song.
Brokey. There you go.
That's the one in the.
Venmo me $10.
I don't know. I'm not.
Challenge ever. We just did the article. Karen, you actually do know.
I do.
It's Brokey.
Oh,
we just did it. So
my bad.
You would have missed. That was a layup.
I'm sorry. Open book test and I failed it. I'm so sorry.
I don't really listen to Lotto like that either. I listen to a lot. She can rap though, but I don't
know the name. But I haven't really sat down and listened to music.
Yeah, but
we're in an era where we know a lot of people names for like a lot of rappers' names, but not their music. Like I know more rappers' names than their music.
Definitely because of social media, like because now because the industry got so like fucked up. Now they want people with a social media following more than they want people that's like necessarily skilled at rap. Not that these people aren't skilled at rap.
Right.
Many of the on the women's side anyway, many of these motherfuckers can rap.
Yes, they can.
But you definitely would know more of them from like, oh, I think I saw her TikTok. Then you would be like,
yes,
or the song from the TikTok challenge as opposed to like the radio because we don't have radio really anymore. It's a good point, Mike. Lastly, Tyler Perry's Divorce in Black drove more U.S. Prime Video subscriptions than any other Amazon MGM movie, the studio says.
Come on through, Tyler. Tyler don't give a fuck about what y'all say. Tyler say, take it to the bank, bitch. he don't care. He don't care.
I've never seen a dude get this much shit, but just continue to be winning.
I'm not gonna lie. I cheer for him. He know his audience, and he don't give a fuck if you like it or not.
The picture they picked for the art for this article, it looked like he's saying, "Yeah, bitch." Like,
he probably did.
Yeah, it's like that. Oh, someone fell out the casket in my movie. Oh, you don't like the wigs? Well, most subscriptions ever. What's your favorite time? Reacher ain't do that. Jack Ryan ain't do that shit. Cross. Oh, y'all love Cross. Oh, y'all love Cross.
Yeah,
you know what you love more than Cross? Divorce in Black, because that's what y'all watched.
And Negroes supported him. Even if you supported him in protesting, you still support it.
It's so funny.
Hey, you remember those movies like Ernest Goes to Camp? And
yes.
I used to love those.
Remember those? Yeah. So when I took a film class in school, and I wrote that when Black directors and writers are allowed to make like Black versions of Ernest Goes to Camp, then that's how you'll know that the film industry isn't biased anymore. And we finally reached it, right?
Yes.
Like, because I don't watch Tyler Perry movies, but I don't understand people who don't like. It's not like Tyler Perry is the only person making movies, and like the government forces you to watch Tyler Perry movies.
It's other stuff out there,
right? But if like the idea that like Adam Sandler is white Tyler Perry.
That's what I said. You literally took the words out of my mouth. I was just about to say, like, to me, Tyler Perry, Adam Sandler, same fucking guy. Yeah. And that's progress. Like, progress is not, and the only difference is like Tyler Perry just made a movie on Netflix. I think it's like forget the number, but it's the one where it's the Black women regiment of
the 312, 616, or 414.
Yeah. Hey man, shit was good. Like I watched it and was like, are you sure Tyler Perry made this? Everybody's like, yeah, Tyler Perry movie. Okay, all right. So I guess he get the wig budget, he got. I mean, he can do the same shit Black Panthers filmed on his set. So like they doing war scenes, and the war scenes are like war scenes. Like, so I'm not trying to. I mean, it's no way not to sound shady, but like I've seen movies where Tyler Perry had people in a restaurant and there was clearly no liquid in the cups of the extras that were supposed to be drinking liquid in the background, and it's like, okay, that didn't seem like a lot of attention to detail. And then I'm watching this, and a motherfucker's flying a plane doing a dog fight, and I'm like, Tyler Perry did this. Okay, all right. So he can do it if he want to.
I feel like Tyler Perry also wrote this version of the simulation that we're in right now with Donald Trump. Like it feels like this whole administration feels like a Tyler Perry plot, right?
It does. Right? It does.
Yes. Running America.
Down to Trump's bad wig. It makes a lot of sense.
It's really Medea goes. Trump is really playing Medea goes to the White House.
Yo. Yes. I still waiting on Medea Goes to Space. I really
you know what? I think I'm in for that one.
I made a joke one time on Twitter. It went a little bit viral, but it was like Medea in the Marvel universe. It just how fun that would have been. I would watch that. Why couldn't that be one of the What If episodes?
Like in her superpower is like hitting people with a pocketbook. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Thanos put the gems on the pocketbook, so instead of it being like the gauntlet, it's got the Infinity Stones on the fucking purse. I'm about to get the capping up in her. Oh man. All right, let's get into one more fun thing. Let's do a little bit of Guess the Race.
Okay.
Because I get it. People been listening. They're like, these guys are woke. Okay, this is the DEI. This is the problem. Okay,
this the issue.
They not giving white people an off ramp so they could come from Trump and come over and be cool with them. Well, we're gonna be a little racist ourselves, guys.
It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race.
Guess the race. Game we go around the globe. Guess the race of people involved in these articles that we found. And everyone plays along. Karen's going to guess. Michael Harriot is going to guess. The chat room is going to guess. And just going to let you guys know. These guys are racist. So let's get into the first one. Let's go with, how about this one? Gunplay came after male duo's foreplay.
Oh, a lot of playing. What's happening here? Are these rappers?
Police say James Newland, 61, and his 33-year-old boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
They went to his bedroom, the 61-year-old's bedroom, to have relations, meaning they were sexually intimate.
Okay.
According to cops, the younger man said Newland told him he liked it rough. So he smacked Newland's butt hard enough to leave a handprint. Okay. After Newland told the victim to stop and that he was hurt, the man apologized, put his underwear back on, and returned to the living room. Okay, I feel like that's appropriate. You know, probably the mood's ruined and they're probably pretty upset. Well, when Newland subsequently appeared in the living room, he allegedly grabbed a revolver from a side table and pointed the gun at the victim, saying, "You want to try me? You want to fuck with me?" Okay, that escalated quickly. That seemed like an overreaction to me.
Yeah, it does.
It seemed
Just some other underlying stuff happening.
Yeah, you know, it seemed like I don't like it that rough, but why do you have a gun, sir? This is much rougher than the hand on the ass, actually, now. As the victim departed the residence, Newland cops fired the shot into his front porch's pavement. Newland reportedly admitted to the shooting, but claimed he would never hurt anybody. Well, I mean, the hand on the ass and the gun that kind of goes against the point. He said he was just trying to scare away the dude, who he accused of striking him with a gas can. Newland, who smelled of booze, and had slurred speech, gave consent to search his home, where they found approximately 9 firearms.
Good God.
Hey, man.
What?
That's a lot of.
What did you plan on having?
It's a lot of guns, man, for a hookup, you know. The two other guns were removed from his car, so he had 11 guns.
Wow.
He was arrested, charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, felony, and 2 misdemeanor gun counts. He was released on New Year's Eve after posting $25,000 bond. He's been ordered to have no contact with the victim. Karen, guess the race of Mr. James Newland.
I'm gonna go white.
Karen's going white. All right. What about you, Mike?
I'm going white. Too many guns. Like, there's a threshold of gun ownership that crosses over, and you know, it's white people. Like, I'd say like 3 good, like 1 in the car, 2 in the house. Then might have been a dude, and then the other thing that gave it away is the handprint on the ass. Right? Like, you put the mark on the ass. It's just a light skinned person, but I'm going white.
I love your detective mind. Let's see the chat room. NRA White, the 369, directed by Adam Sandler.
Oh,
White.
no.
That's hilarious, Trey. Too many guns, white glaze. I like it spicy and add some black pepper, white. Both of them white. Instead of shooting up the club, he shot up the apartment. White. Black, says Cornelius. Okay, Cornelius is a pretty black name too. White as the gauze used in the bullet wounds. And why the correct answer is Michael and Karen both said the same thing. They both went with white. Much of the audience went with white. The correct answer is white. Now, one person did miss it. I gotta boo you. I'm sorry. I like where your head was at, Cornelius, though. Okay. I like that you think outside the box, but this sounded very white. I think once you get the handprints on the ass, it's up there. Man, I just can't imagine going in nobody's house. They got 9 guns and telling them I like it rough. I'm like, what? Your version of rough and my version of rough might not align, brother. That's a lot of guns.
Yeah, because you can't hide 9 guns, right? So it's still got to be like on the table, right?
Yeah. 9 guns is like you go to get a glass of water and it's a gun in there.
Yeah. I mean, when you put 2 guns in the car, like you got one in the glove compartment. Where's the other one in that middle thing?
Yeah. Who's after you? What are you, Tony Soprano? What you need 9 guns for, dude? Who's coming in?
John Wick gonna be having 9 guns. He be having like 3 guns, and then you have to go get one.
Right.
Yes.
Oh man. All right. Let's go to the next one.
This might be the dude who sells John Wick the goods, because you know it's always a big. Yeah, you're right.
You never know.
Facts. He's like, actually, I'm a tailor, but if John Wick comes in the house, I'll take him to the gun side of the tailor shop. So, a man used a GPS tracker to run into, doing air quotes here, a woman in an apparent effort to rekindle a years ago sexual relationship. A Florida man hit a GPS tracker on the car of a female victim in an attempt to engineer a chance to coincidentally run into her. What a cute story to tell your kids.
No, it's not.
Boy, you know how I got your mama? Stalked her for months.
GPS stuff.
Investigators allege that Tyler Michael Strack, a 22-year-old Chipotle worker, purchased a cable brand tracker from Best Buy, installed a device on a woman's car. The victim discovered the tracking device last year and contacted the police. Using a series of subpoenas, investigators linked Strack to the item's purchase and to an email address provided upon purchase of the Cube tracker. Asked about Strack, the victim told police they once had a brief sexual relationship with him several years ago, which ended with no further substantial contact. During police questioning, Strack reportedly admitted purchasing the tracker, installing the device on the victim's vehicle at her residence in an attempt to run into the victim. Damn, it must have been good. He was thinking about that shit a lot. Years ago? Nigga, you haven't moved on? You like, I can't just Facebook stalk her. I gotta get a tracker. I gotta see her coming out the gym. It's no way. He was arrested on a felony charge and booked in county jail. He's released $5,000 bond. He's previously been cited for traffic infractions like careless driving, probably because he's looking at the GPS on his phone, operating a vehicle without insurance, and driving a car with expired registration.
I have a question. Yeah. How can you even find a tracker on your phone? I mean, just on your car.
I don't know if they didn't say in the article, but so there's a couple things that can happen. I know with like Apple AirTags, it'll actually alert your phone even if it's not your AirTag. So like if an AirTag been following you, it'll be like, hey, this AirTag is near your phone in case somebody tracking your ass. I don't know if it does it with other tracking equipment, but it could just be she was washing her car and saw the shit or something. Yeah, it could be anything.
Damn.
I know, right? Yeah. Like that's such a crazy plan. That's such a oh my God. Wow, you shop here too? In this Kroger 30 minutes across the side of town? That's crazy, girl. Anyway, what you up to? You want to have sex again? Remember that time we had sex?
No.
It's me, the guy you had sex with years ago that you ghosted. But hey, it was crazy that we met again. Karen, guess the race.
White.
Karen's going white. Michael?
Yeah, I'm going white. Chipotle workers spending money on a GPS CIA tracking device. Yeah,
that's why the guac is extra.
No,
how they gonna afford tracking devices on Chipotle's salary?
I also feel like what's the next step? Like once you run into her in the CVS, like what do you say if you ain't got enough game to bring it up?
Right.
And what if they was like, I'm good?
Right. Oh man. Let's see. You white, like the TV show on Netflix. Arrest him immediately white. Cracker Barrel logo white. Watching too many rom-coms white. White. Creepy white behavior white. Named Tyler. That she didn't put a race. I'm thinking she's saying white. You sneak and remove the tracker. Oh, Cornelius, how you know? You giving instructions? What's going on, buddy? What's going on, man? Somebody's white stalker, man. The correct answer is white. Correct.
Why are they selling trackers like GPS trackers in the Staples anyway?
Yeah, right. I'm assuming. So the legit use for trackers like this is stuff like people put it on their luggage. I guess I don't know. I don't do these things, so I don't know. I feel like there's enough ways to track ourselves now. It's like, you know.
Now that you mention it, man, like I think I literally have the Finder Cube tracker. Like I got it at a conference or something. It was in a gift bag. So and I don't even know where it is, but it's in my luggage. And every time I leave my luggage, they say, I get an alert on my phone. So
yeah, which I always thought was interesting, the tracker on the AirTag on your luggage, because it's like ain't shit I could do about it. like you know, the airport already gonna tell you like, yeah, man, your shit in Newark. It's just like, yeah, okay, this is the most powerless I've ever felt in my life. So I guess the AirTag just would have told me before you texted me to be like, your shit ain't here, because my shit ain't here. What are y'all gonna do about my shit? That's what I want to know. But shout out to American Airlines because they got me my bags within hours one time. So shout out to them. They took care of me. But boy, let me tell you something. Most powerless I ever felt.
Getting somewhere without you getting there before your luggage. You're like, wait a minute now, wait a minute.
If they would have texted me back like, nigga, fuck your luggage, it wouldn't have been nothing I could do. It was just, I had no recourse. I just didn't have luggage till they were going to decide that I could have my stuff back. I would have begged them like, please, come on, guys. They was like, it's coming to you in a couple hours. Just go outside. All right. You guys are 2 for 2.
Yay!
Yeah. So that means we get the more racist version of the Guess the Race version bonus round.
How can I be racist about anybody or anything in my life? How can I?
Call them niggers. Just call them niggers.
It's time to get
Gold,
the race.
gold chain, fried chicken, biscuit eating, monkey eating, baboon, big dime, fast running, high jumping, spear chucking, 360-degree basketball.
And that's why WFAE didn't call us back. As tensions,
that's how we can get that call back.
Too vulgar. As tensions rise over recent ICE raids across the country, Temple University police are investigating a disturbing incident.
Okay.
Involving individuals impersonating U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers, ICE, on campus. Authorities say the suspects dressed in shirts with police and ICE lettering. They were reported Saturday night at Insomnia Cookies on Cecil B. Moore Ave. One of them was seen recording the incident. So it's like a prank? Like, I don't even understand what, because you don't have ICE authority. Also, the irony of it being Cecil B. Moore, a civil rights activist, Ave. I appreciate y'all putting that in the article. That was very petty. And thank you. Hey, these motherfuckers was violating civil rights on Civil Rights Avenue. Ain't that crazy? Earlier that evening, all 3 suspects allegedly tried to enter the Johnson and Hardwick residence hall, but were denied access. One suspect, Temple student Aiden Stiegelman, 22, he's the guys whose race we're guessing, has been arrested and charged with impersonating a public servant. He has also been placed on interim suspension as the investigation continues. It's deeply troubling and disappointing to know behavior like this reportedly occurred on our campus, Temple Police said in a statement. Authorities are still searching for 2 more male suspects connected to the incident. Temple Police have released a photo of the person of interest and are asking for public's help in identifying them. The incident comes just days after ICE raid was reported at a Philadelphia car wash, following Trump's directive to deport migrants involved in criminal activity. Amid concerns, Temple Police have assured students and staff that no federal ICE agents have been seen on campus.
At least not yet, y'all.
Yes, like stay tuned. But yeah, guess the race, Karen. Mr. What the fuck was his first name? Aiden Stiegelman.
Oh, white. You bold enough to impersonate an officer?
Okay.
Very few black people do that.
I hear you. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I'm going white, man. Like, black folks ain't putting on, like, trying to be the police and do police things. And I also feel like doing it on a college campus is like fucking with people. Like they fucking with people. Yeah. Just to be fucking with people. Like
it feels more like a prank. It feels more like a YouTube prank than an actual.
Yeah, this ain't a prank though. It's just like really like they just a hate crime. Like a low
hate crime. Like you could get it's the vibe that it feels like to me is like if y'all remember when YouTube, like maybe 15, 20 years ago, when they first started, the prank YouTube guys started, and every once in a while they would delve into those pranks where you like, that's just racist.
Yes.
It feel like that type of thing where it's like, when they said one of the guys is recording it, I'm like, why are you recording this unless it's like to post somewhere and be like, guys, look what we did, But the chat
a black prank is hiding in the shower and jumping out when somebody comes in the use. But the white prank, they buy the Jason mask and a chainsaw.
Yeah, they go a little further, and the thing is,
when there's costuming involved, I feel like it's got to be white. Right?
Yeah, costuming, and also the thing is, you better be careful messing with Negroes. They'll fuck you up. You go hi, and next thing you know, you get your ass whooped.
I just think like there's certain things that are off limits to black folks, and race is one of those things that you can't prank. You can't play with everybody about, right? And immigration feels close to race to me in America. It doesn't feel like the kind of thing that a black person would do. So I see why y'all are guessing white on this. So let's check the chat room.
See, and not a black person. Remember, it was multiple people. Like you could, like it's gonna be one of your friends gonna be saying, "What the fuck you talking about, man?" Like,
you're not gonna convince like 4 black people to do the prank.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, that's impossible.
One in the group.
I was just kidding. White sister.
Oh no.
That's my favorite part of the white people racist pranks is when they be like, they walk into it's like, I'm going in the hood calling black people the N-word. And then the first time somebody's like, I will fuck you up, white boy, they be like, I was just kidding. This is a prank. It's a prank. The camera's over there. It's like, that's not gonna save you. You call that man the N-word, he's liable to do anything. Stiegelman, too easy, white. Jackbooted thuggery, white. Incel, white. It was just a prank, white. Everything's a joke, white. Stiegelman, white. Former NBA player Odin Polynice impersonated cop, I think, but this is gotta be a white. Yeah, I still remember that. That was crazy too, because he was Odin Polynice, and you in Utah, nigga. Everyone know who you are.
In Utah,
you're a 7 foot tall black man in Utah. You can't impersonate anybody but you.
Yeah.
You know who you can impersonate? Karl Malone. You might convince one white person you Karl Malone, but everybody else know who the fuck you is, man. The idea of funny is stuff that could get a black person murdered. The whitest, faking being a cop can get you hurt. Correct, Romy. Boldly in whiteness, white cosplay. And the correct answer is everyone got it white. I just like he's a throwback, but he look like an old school Larry Bird.
Yes, he does. It's like he would bust your ass for double.
Y'all still make these? I didn't know they made white people like this no more.
Barely jumping off the ground.
Yeah. I mean, what like white people be having a lot of free time.
Yes, they do.
Bruh, why is this
think of something like that?
And when are you gonna post this?
Right.
Like, who is the audience for this? Because I just imagine you're gonna get doxxed and threatened the second that this hits online. I was gonna be like, you're fucking with people during the Trump administration by pretending to be ICE.
Right.
His name is Jordan Stiegelman, and his address is, you know what I mean? Like,
I feel like it was a hate crime, and then when they got caught, they said, "Yeah, it was just a prank."
Yeah.
I can see that.
Because what were you gonna do? Is my point. Like, even as times go, the fuck was are you gonna deport somebody? Y'all got the deportation money?
This is the white version of. Remember, they used to say like if you flash your headlights at somebody, the person who flash back, they might kill you because it's a gang initiation.
Yeah,
I don't care if it's true. This is my conspiracy theory about what white people do. They
I'm with it.
The Proud Boys. It's a Proud Boys initiation ceremony.
They like put on the ICE gear and go out arrest 2 immigrant looking people, and you and the Proud Boys. That's all you gotta do. Everybody arrest 2 people. Get somebody to record it though.
Actually, did you notice like when the Proud Boys were coming up? Like I was reporting on the Proud Boys like right before everybody knew about them. Did you know that you have to go a certain amount of time without masturbating to be a Proud Boy?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I know. Dante Nero, the comedian that was like part of the Proud Boys but didn't know he was part of the Proud Boys because he's black. It's very funny. I mean, obviously it's tragic, but it's also very funny that he didn't know. But like he does a lot of like, this is how you be a man, personal responsibility. This is how you should talk to women, blah, blah. And so I think they took some of his shit, mixed it with some of that supremacy, and got Proud Boys. So he knew about the man shit where he's like, look, man, like you want to talk to a woman, this you gotta be confident. You gotta, and they was like, you know what else? Black people need to go back to Africa. You're like, whoa,
where'd that come from?
I thought we was getting chicks. Listen, don't jack off. Okay. Don't jack off. That's a good idea. But also, should Mexicans have rights? I don't think so. And what's your name? Don't worry about my name. It might be Enrique Tarrio, but you don't need to look that up. That ain't got nothing to do with this. Mexicans don't need rights. See you on January 6th. All right, last thing, sword ratchetness, long sound effect warning coming. All right, sword ratchetness. Go around the globe, find different articles involving swords. Try to spread awareness so we can like help people. Today's article is about a teen that was arrested for cutting a family member with a sword multiple times.
Oh, a Rochester teen has been arrested after police say he attacked a family member with a sword. Just after 2 yesterday afternoon, officers say they got a call about family trouble at a home on Clifford Avenue. And when they got there, police found a 29-year-old man with cuts to his head and face. Investigators say that man had been arguing with a 17-year-old who then used a sword to cut him multiple times. The teen was taken into custody and the victim taken to the hospital, luckily expected to recover.
I will say this. That is one way to get around the old man strength.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't endorse this, but because you tell me a 17-year-old got to fight a grown man, I'm like, it's not gonna work out for you, buddy. Okay, we've all been there. We've all wanted to do it, but it don't work. Sword is a game changer.
Yeah, a sword. I feel like though, a teenager with a sword and a grown man strength is like equal.
It's fighting fair one. It's close. Cause the thing that a 17-year-old normally don't have is the willingness to do anything it takes to win.
Right.
Which a grown ass man has. He ain't because he can't live his life, and especially if it's a family member, meaning you could be his son, nephew, or whatever. He can't live in that house after you done whooped his ass.
Right.
So he got to win unless you got a sword.
Right. Like I am in the demographic of grown man strength now, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's certain things like I would take a chance with a young enough nigga with a sword if they was fucking with me on the wrong thing, right? Right.
I think what I realized as I got older is not that I feel like I got stronger as much as I feel like I ain't gonna lose.
Yeah, I'm not that strong, right? Like I'm not strong or agile or athletic. I'm less athletic than I've ever been in my life, right? But I also know, and it's part of arrogance too. Is like that nigga can't beat me, right? Yeah.
Well, it's that I can't live with him beating me. It's not that like at 17, your whole life's ahead of you. You got plenty of rematches, wins and losses. Now I'm on the side where I shouldn't even be fighting.
Ain't that the truth?
I will not allow it.
So I can't.
Will not allow it.
Yeah, I can't. I gotta do whatever it takes. Because if whatever this spot is, when I lose, I can't return. So if it's the basketball court, I can't come back. So I don't want to fight you. It's the last resort if I have to, but I have to win. Because I can't be in here on Tuesday and they're like, that's the grown man got his ass whooped. I didn't understand that when I was younger. I was at a basketball court in Fayetteville, was playing outside. And this old man named Joe, he was like 44. And we were the median age of everyone else was probably 20. Okay. And so he playing ball with us. Old Joe. And Joe, cool for an old man. No problems with him. But high school kid comes out there. And the basketball court, you gotta ask for next. You gotta be like, yeah, can I get next? Can I get next? And Joe had next. Kid comes like, nah, I had next. And Joe's like, no, I had next. And the kid goes, well, can we just run together? And Joe says, cool. Now, the way next works in the area I'm playing, people call next after next and next after that. And that. So like your shit need to be tight because no sympathy if it don't work out. Like if you be like, oh man, buddy skipped me or whatever, it's like, hey, that's between you and him, bro. I just know that I'm the person that was at that. Well, it comes time to play. Kid gets on the court. Oh man, I already got my people, Joe. I got 5. You can't.
But he didn't tell him that, right?
And Joe's like, motherfucker, I've been sitting here waiting. Now 5 people behind you waiting. How you just gonna play me like that in front of everybody? And the kid laughed at him and then just went and played basketball, right? And I think I had next after Joe and them. I was like, Joe, you can run with us. Cause I was just like, I don't want no smoke. You 44. I'm 21. What am I gonna die for this shit? Right. I've been playing basketball in the hood way too long that I know a crash out when I can feel it. I said, this motherfucker gonna crash out. Cause he was hot.
Yes, just the disrespect.
He was hot. And then we played the game after. Joe could barely concentrate on the game. We was playing against them. I think them kids lost. And he was just talking to them motherfuckers on the sideline the whole game. I'm like, Joe gonna fuck them kids up. Anyway, 2 weeks passed. Okay. We're gonna play many a fucking game in 2 weeks.
Time.
Many a game in 2 weeks, right? It's like another Sunday. We out there balling, middle of the day. Joe's out there. Joe and this kid have seen each other a few times in this 2 weeks. Like, and there ain't been no problems for the record.
Okay.
Like, other than Joe being like, it's fucked up what you did that day. And then the kid being laughing about it and being like, come on, man, you know, it's my boys. All right. 2 weeks later, we on the sideline. Joe just walked up to the kid and said, remember that shit you did, and knocked him the fuck out.
Oh, no.
Knocked him out.
He had been thinking about that shit. That shit bothered the fuck out of him. It bothered him.
And all I could, that was when I got introduced to like, oh, okay. Old man can't take an L in front of the young boy.
Yeah, because you embarrassed him.
You would hope that his ego would allow it, but hope and what is real are two different things. And what was real was that he wasn't fitting to be looking like no punk in front of us. Even if I think that was some sucker shit to hit that kid 2 weeks later, Joe did that shit, and Joe ain't come back to the court for like 3 months. Like he knocked that kid out because it was the hood. They was looking for him. So he didn't come back for like 3 months, and then 3 months later he came back like nothing fucking happened. It was insane. But like I said, old man can't lose. Is my point of that story.
Yeah, man. And do you know how many fights you have to pass over to get to be a person with old man strength? Like, you got to just let a lot of shit go to get that man with old man strength.
You got to save it up. That's why they got so much for that one time. They've been saving. That's a smart one that's navigated 45 years of like, not today.
Not today.
But one day. But one day. Mike, man, can you tell the people where to find you? Tell people where to find Contraband Camp and all of that stuff.
Yeah, contrabandcamp.com. You can find us. We have different writers and myself writing every day. Contrabandcamp.com, and you can find us on all of the social media platforms at MichaelHarriot. 1 T.
There you go. And man, it's fun to have you on. Like I said, don't be a stranger. I wasn't joking last year or whatever when I was like, hey, you don't have to have something to promote, just come on, kick it. And appreciate you reaching out. And yeah, man, make sure y'all stay connected to the culture. We'll be back throughout the week. Probably only do 1 or 2 more episodes this week because we didn't do a feedback show yesterday, so I know the shit's gonna pile up, and I know
as people catch up,
fucking episode is gonna be 3-4 hours because of y'all. And also, if you're on YouTube, stop writing us about Blake Lively. I cannot emphasize how much I don't give a fuck about that shit. I feel how I feel. I'm not a lawyer. I just think that nigga did that shit.
I do too.
I don't know what to tell you. It just seemed weird.
PR people and shit.
A dude being a weirdo, a lot more prominent than y'all think, I guess. And I'm not litigating it. They should go to court for that shit. So if you're expecting feedback on that, someone wrote like 12 paragraphs. I was like,
child.
I read like a half a paragraph. I was like, what is this? I forgot we talked about that. Anyway, he did it.
Yeah, who hires a PR team for some shit they didn't do?
Yeah, no one does that. Y'all are, that is weird. They got you. They got you on that one. That's weird. Anyway, but we'll be back throughout the week. Thanks for listening, and good luck to whatever you're rooting for the Super Bowl. I'm rooting for Kendrick for sure, 100%. I'm conflicted on which of these quarterbacks because I like Jalen Hurts more than I like Patrick Mahomes, but also like
he's too handsome, man.
Jalen, he is so handsome. He is so handsome.
Yeah, and then he got another handsome dude. Like, it might be the handsomest team in the NFL.
They are very handsome.
Saquon and Jalen together, I just can't pull for
Jalen. Feel like a throwback to me though, in a way that they don't make black quarterbacks like this anymore. They like on the low, like Lamar Jackson's becoming excellent passer. Like to the point where it's like I feel disconnected from Lamar. I used to like when I was like, hey, but watch when he run this ball. Watch this shit. Now he be acting like I'm gonna slice these niggas apart. I'm throwing 4 interceptions a whole season. I'm like, damn, brother, you crossed over.
But Jalen, he plays like the old white quarterbacks, like the George Flander era.
I just feel like they gonna get in the wishbone on this skit. Like,
this nigga gonna kick field goals too, right? Like, do you remember the quarterbacks used to kick field goals? Yeah. I feel like that's he one of those quarterbacks.
He's such a I don't know, man. And then Patrick Mahomes, obviously it would be dope to see anyone win 3 in a row.
Right. That's what I'm rooting for.
Which is low key more about my animosity towards the Tom Brady era and not, not necessarily my love of Patrick Mahomes. Because his wife is MAGA.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about her. I'm rooting for him to win 3 in a row. Yes.
And like I have to say, low key MAGA by proxy, my guy. You married her. Like I can't give you.
I don't know, man. If you see his daddy though, like his daddy erased. His daddy is all the MAGA. Yeah, his daddy balanced out all the MAGA. He the opposite of MAGA, right?
I agree. I agree, but he ain't his daddy. So like I feel like when they be in that box, they know he married that white. He like, you know, his daddy be like rolling his eyes, like.
Yeah, and I'm ready for people to get mad at Taylor Swift. They gonna be like, Taylor Swift run them rings. You know, the Swifties are gonna contribute all the wins to her. They gonna lose their mind.
Okay,
yeah, I just like that Taylor Swift make them mad, make the MAGA people mad.
She does.
You know what?
So yeah.
You know what else though? You know what else? You just made me realize they gotta cut to Taylor Swift during Kendrick's performance. So she's a Kendrick.
Oh my god.
She's a stage. Yeah. She's like
I want to see Taylor Swift dancing to Kendrick Lamar. I want to see her sing A minor. Somebody gonna have.
They say Kendrick got a surprise. They say Kendrick got a surprise at halftime. Ooh. If he brought Taylor Swift out and she was dancing to motherfucking certified pedophile, I'll be like, God damn. He won't. But if he did,
smooth, I'll be like, go Taylor.
He won't. But if he did, I can't imagine him more. That's why Drake in Australia. He just like, fuck it. Let me get as far away from
cartoon ass boots.
Let me get as far away from this motherfucker on the planet Earth that if I could go to space during the Super Bowl, I'd be on SpaceX because I don't want to be here when they party. All right, y'all. We'll be back throughout the week. Thanks for listening. Until next time. Love you.
I love you too.
Bye, everybody.